Welcome back to the channel today, guys. Now, I wish I could come in here and tell you guys, I feel 100% better. Everything's great. I'm chipper as hell, but I really can't. I don't feel that much better, to be honest. But this episode was what I wanted it to be and more. It was so fun. Episodes like this are the reason I love Spy X Family. I had a blast throughout the whole runtime of the episode, to the point where it ended and I was like, no, not like that. Don't end like that. We're gonna have an equally fun episode next week. But for now, let's just get into it and talk about Spy X Family. Part 2, episode 10 today. Basically, episode 22. Because it was a total blast. So our episode begins immediately with Fiona, aka Nightfall, trying to process her thoughts from the previous day, as she thinks to herself that Twilight, you've changed. By being in the Forger household, you've gained unnecessary emotions, and your cunning as an agent has dulled. Right now, you're like a chipped knife. Seeing you like this makes my heart ache. Because if you guys remember, Fiona, aka Nightfall, has deep admiration for Loid to the point of obsessiveness. And she is madly in love with him, as she says, even if he became one of those little toy knives that retreat when you stab something, I would continue to respect him. Actually, a bouncy Twilight would be so adorable. I love him. But things cannot stay like this. I'm the one that should make him bouncy. I must steal the title of wife from Yor. And it's here we transition to the mission briefing between Loid and Fiona about the current mission that they're working on together. And this part might be a little lengthy, so buckle up, guys, as we begin by saying Cavi Campbell, age 56. He gained his fortune through the energy business, and he's also known to be an avid collector of antiques. A painting that he possesses, valued to be at $1 million dialect, The Lady in the Sun, is our target for this mission. The original owner was the late Colonel Eric Zacharies. He belonged to the East's Military Intelligence Division in the war between the East and West. He was also a major player in ending the war. He's said to be in possession of some troublesome top-secret information that was cast into darkness because it could reignite the flames of war if it went public. Otherwise known as the Zachary dossier, it's said that the dossier could contain records of the East's human experiments, or the truth behind the West's massacre of POWs. It's also known as the ticking time bomb under thin ice. Its whereabouts were long shrouded in mystery, but clues regarding said whereabouts can be found in the painting. As they say that we believe there might be some kind of code within the painting. It's only a matter of time before the painting's owner, Campbell, or the Eastern government realizes the truth behind the painting. As Fiona says, our orders are to retrieve the Zachary's dossier before they do. As Loid asks Fiona, where's the painting? And she tells him that it's located in the basement of the Campbell mansion along with his other art pieces. But on top of tight security, Campbell also has connections to the State Security Service. Any vermin that sneak in are exterminated without fail. So basically, to summarize all that information for you guys, because it is a lot, that Loid and Fiona have to break into this guy's mansion to steal this painting that they believe has secret documents that could reignite a war. And his security is very tight, so the only way they can get in is to infiltrate it by going to an underground illegal tennis tournament. Goofy, I know. And as we transition to Loid and Fiona down there, we just hear Loid say, Nightfall. Was there really no other way? As she tells him that this was the most certain method. As she explains to him that there's an underground tennis tournament run by Campbell for himself and other members of his underground tennis club. It's known as the Campbellton. Get it? Campbellton? Campbellton? Get it? Elites of the financial world and members of the underground gather for this expensive and illegal event. Ordinarily, celebs enter their own personal players to compete. But normal civilians can also enter as long as they pay an incredibly high entry fee. And the winner is free to choose whatever art piece they want from Campbell's personal collection. So basically, that if they win this event, that's their key to getting the painting without having to go in and forcefully steal it. It's goofy as hell, but it makes sense, honestly. As Loid's asking the question that we're all thinking, like, okay, but why tennis? What in the world is an underground tennis club? Fiona's just like, I don't know, I guess he's just really into it, I guess. And it's here we begin our first match of the illegal tennis tournament, with Loid and Fiona going under the guise of the Twan and Nephalia phony pair. Oh, did I forget to mention that they're supposedly husband and wife here? Because they are. As Loid asks her, like, well, so why'd you pick a husband and wife, huh? But let's be real. We know why she picked a husband and wife. And as we see the first people that they have to play against, they're actually retired pros from the tennis world. So right off the bat, they're met with a challenge. As Fiona asks him, like, you got any experience playing tennis at all? And Loid tells her that I've dabbled a bit, but like, I've only practiced a little bit at home. As Loid says that, yeah, I told my family that I was competing in a tennis competition with some of our business partners in the medical field. Because that's what doctors do. They play tennis. I mean, they probably do, actually. They got the money. As Fiona gets fired up, thinking to herself that this mission will show you that I'm a perfect fit to play your wife for Operation Strix. And it's here that Loid remembers the words of a fellow agent told him before this mission that, yeah, Nightfall's been getting a little too eager to get ahead lately. You should try to watch over her, Twilight, so she doesn't do anything crazy. And as our first match is about to begin, their opponents just start talking mad shit right away, right off the jump. As they say that we holed up in the mountains and endured rigorous training just for this day. And as Loid tries to shake their hand and say, let's have a good game, they're like, a good match, huh? You fool. What's about to unfold here is an absolute slaughter. And they're certainly right about one thing. It is definitely an absolute slaughter. But of them, as Loid literally serves the first shot and just completely crushes it. As Fiona thinks to herself that, wow, he managed to serve ace right off the bat against a pro. Well done, Twilight. You've redefined dabbled. I love you. And it's here that Fiona starts thinking to herself about how Loid's gonna act when everything's done. As she thinks he's gonna say, fantastic, Nightfall. Let's play doubles in the game of life. As she gets hyped up to the point of insanity and they completely win the first game. And it's here we transition to our second match as we hear the announcer saying, our first match will feature the phony pair who just woed us with a miracle. Playing against Dressen's Mad Dogs, the Boric brothers, and bro, these guys are juiced the fuck up. It's so obvious. They're so swole. Their necks are completely gone. That's how you know they're juiced up. As Loid's just like, Nephalia, didn't you say something about no risks here? As Fiona's just like, let's just do our best, dear. Absolutely loving this situation. And it's here we transition to Anya and Yor in the park, actually, and Yor is extremely out of it, lost in her thoughts, as she thinks to herself, if he's at that tennis tournament with colleagues, does that mean she's there too? I wonder what her relationship with Loid is. And on the surface, she's framing this as her being worried that she might go back to a life where Yuri's worried about her. But let's be real here, she's a little bit jealous. That's kind of apparent. As she thinks to herself, like, if a situation like that could happen, maybe I should take care of her. As Anya's just looking on like, please mom, not my ball, I need that, we only brought one. And it's here as we transition back to the tennis match. Loid's looking a little nervous as he like, Nephalia, those definitely don't seem like the same Boric brothers from round one. As Fiona's like, oh, that's right, I forgot to mention this, but in this tournament, you can customize your rackets and equipment, get doped up, perform illegal moves, pretty much anything goes. They must have taken muscles enhancers. As Loid's like, yo, that's kind of an understatement here. And as they walk up to Loid and Fiona, they start talking mad shit again. Like, hey boy, you kind of smell like piss over there. If you pissed your pants, have that chick change your diapers. And Fiona's just like, I would be happy to. That's fucking gross. And as they keep talking shit, Fiona gets freaking pissed and demolishes them as they win because she beat them to a pulp by herself. As Loid says that, you didn't have to hit him with that many smashes. As Fiona tells him, whoops, my hands just kept slipping. Accidents happen. And as we do a little bit of a time skip, we see that Fiona and Loid safely make it to the final match. Because Fiona just keeps showing off and doing really extra unnecessary shit. And as they're waiting in the waiting room, Fiona's just thinking to herself, like, Twilight, how did you like my flawless plays? It's here that Loid explains, though, that they're going to be facing Campbell's son and daughter in the finals. They're still in high school, but they've trained with the best in tennis ever since they were little. And since their father runs the tournament, we should be on guard just in case they try to do something underhanded. And it's here that Loid gets up and actually grabs Fiona's hand as she thinks to herself, wait, already? Right here? Twilight, I'm not ready just yet. But instead of what she's thinking, Loid actually chews her out a little bit and says, stop pushing yourself. Your hands are all torn up. And as we take a look at her hands look awful. They look really bad. As he says, our opponents won't be that easy. I don't blame you for panicking, but take it easy. As she slaps his hand away and says, I'll be fine. This is nothing. As Loid looks at her and says, I've seen many allies die exactly for that reason. Spies are finished once they lose their cool. As Fiona thinks to herself that you used to tell me that us spies were disposable. That's not fair, Twilight! You're not playing fair at all! I love you, 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 I love you. Like, good lord, Fiona! It's like, good god! The obsession is wild. I would definitely say Fiona's on Yuri level, for sure. As Loid thinks to himself, like, damn, she's glaring daggers at me. She doesn't like my philosophy that much. Fiona just can't be honest with herself. That's what it is. She always has to put on that cold facade, and she can't just express how she feels. And she's like, damn it, I pulled my hand away. I'm so stupid. Twilight's warmth still stings a little. But then she realizes something like, wait a minute, it stings. And it's here that they realize that Campbell is pumping colorless and odorless like toxins into the room to incapacitate them. He's cheating to the extreme. He's literally like, it's like a neurotoxin that numbs your body that he's pumping into the room. That's odorless and colorless. As Loid says, it's probably some non-lethal chemical agent. As Loid realizes that they're locked into the room and they can't really get out. As he communicates with Fiona via Morse code that I guess we can pretend we fell for their trap. As he says, just in case, let's cover up our skin and climb the lockers to lessen the damage. Which is honestly smart. That would work. The altitude would help because all the poison and gas or whatever would sink to the bottom of the room around the floor. So if you get to a higher vantage point, you have less of it. So that's actually smart. And it's here we transition to the finals as we see the phony pair. And I didn't mention this earlier, but get it? Their name is Phony, as in they're phony. Versus the Campbell siblings. Sorry, I won't be cringy like that, I promise. And before the match starts, Loid asks Fiona, like, how are you feeling? And she tells him that I'm still a little numb. I'm also experiencing slight difficulty breathing and my pulse is low. So he probably injected them with some kind of neurotoxin. But poisoned or not, the match must go on as Loid sends the first serve of the match and gets returned by one of Campbell's kids who has a rocket-powered racket. Like, what? It's so goofy. And as we transition to his sister, she has a whip racket that can extend super far. They are mega cheating. And as the game goes on, the Campbell siblings actually win the first match against Fiona and Loid. But it's here, right before the second match. Loid just looks over at Fiona. She nods, and our OST kicks in, baby. Shit's getting real now. And as these next matches go through, Loid and Fiona start making a hell of a comeback and tie it up. To the point where the brother of the siblings actually notifies the people on the side and they start cheating using the tennis court itself. As Loid says, the 36 grooves across this court. They caught my eye, but now I see their purpose. But it's here that Loid says, I have no intention of letting them win with their petty little tricks. He's starting to get fired up himself. As Fiona thinks to herself, like, that's right. This is the Twilight that I admired. The one I wanted to catch up to and stand beside. My respect turned into romantic feelings, and his dreams became my dreams. As she tells him, wake up, Twilight. I'll crush them with you. As our episode ends. And damn, this is a really fun episode. I wish I didn't feel like total dog shit during it, but it's whatever. I apologize if I sounded terrible throughout this review, guys. Like, I really wanted to keep the energy because I really love these chapters in the manga. This was such a fun episode. Even though I feel bad, I'm really happy and like hyped up right now. And I really hope that shows to you guys. Because man, what a fun little segment we have in our series. Fiona, with as obsessive and goofy as she is, she's got good intentions, you know, just like Yuri. She's got good intentions. She just admires him and wants to stand next to him. And she has a huge hurdle to overcome with Yor. So who knows how that will go? We'll see next week. But I want you guys to let me know what you thought of this episode down below. I thought it was super fun, personally. But if you feel differently, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Because, man, this show just continues to be great. Even in a season as jam-packed and stacked as this one, Spy X Family just continues to crush and just be so fun each week. And I love it. I bet you guys didn't know this, actually, that one of the highest ranking shows that's being watched in Japan. Like, one of the highest rated shows in Japan that's constantly watched above anything else is still Spy X Family. More than Chainsaw Man, more than Bleach, all of that. Spy X Family is crushing it, and I love to see it. But until next time, guys, and hopefully I will feel better by then. I'm really, really hoping. I hope you guys have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and remember to stay healthy, guys. You don't want to sound like me right now. You really don't. But I'll see you guys next time.